anytime you're ready.
How does social media have a lasting effect on our perception? Whether you use social media or not, you cannot deny the fact that many people spend a majority of their time on it. One supposed minute on social media can lead to several hours on it. Great use of this form of technology has led to many changes within our world, one of the greatest impacts being a change on our perceptions. Social media has a lasting effect on our perception. The way one views themselves, how others portray themselves, how one's thinking of another individual can change, and how bias is influenced are all the different ways in which social media has an impact on our perception. When someone posts a picture of themselves on a platform, one of two things can happen. First of all, this can boost one's self-esteem. Susan Paxton, a professor in the Department of Psychology, states, collecting likes and followers provides an immediate marker of achievement and popularity. This proves that these factors add to one's feelings of self-worth. Jamie Perez, a journalist who writes about factors that influence health, explains the scientific reasoning behind Paxton's quote, saying, when collecting likes, the reward system in the brain is activated and releases dopamine, causing people to associate likes with the same feeling one may receive when taking narcotics. He also states that comments have a great impact on one's self-esteem because they boost one's ego through compliments. Yet, social media also has the ability to put someone down. If someone posts a photo of themselves on a platform and is constantly criticized or cyberbullied, they will start to look at themselves in a negative light. Sherry Gordon, an author who has expertise in bullying prevention, states, targets of cyberbullying often begin to doubt their worth and value. This shows that when someone is a victim of cyberbullying, it leads to lower self-esteem, causing them to perceive themselves in a harmful way that can be detrimental to their mental health and may even lead to body dysmorphic disorder, which is a mental disorder that deals with an obsessive focus on a perceived flaw in appearance. This can have a negative impact on someone's perception of themselves. In social media platforms, people have the ability to portray themselves in a different light, and they take advantage of such an opportunity. There are multiple reasons as to why someone wouldn't want to show their true colors on social media. Individuals want to give other people what they want to see, they want to be liked, and they want to be accepted and expressive without being judged. Jane McGonigal, an American game designer who graduated from UC Berkeley, states in her TED Talk that we feel that we are not as good in reality as we are in games. This quote can also be applied to social media since people post what makes them look better to manipulate what others see about them. This is why people often prefer their social media identities over their personalities in real life. Andy Singh, a scholar with a diploma in law management, also identifies that today people often tend to portray themselves as glorified and unrealistic versions of themselves online. Social media also has the ability to change an individual's perception on people depending on what they post. People either perceive others negatively or positively based on what one thinks is socially acceptable. For example, numerous celebrities in modern-day society have a negative connotation tacked to them because of the way that they portray themselves online. A celebrity that fits this criteria would be Kim Kardashian. Because she overexposes her body online, her image is often over-sexualized and even ridiculed. People only tend to focus on this side of Kim Kardashian, calling her talentless, lewd, and vulgar. However, our perspective is skewed as we choose to ignore the positive actions of social media influencers such as Kim Kardashian. Social media also has the potential to influence someone's perception on certain political topics. When you like multiple posts that are related to one another, you will receive posts that are related to what you liked, causing an increase in the bias that was already present. Edward Kessler, a philosophist who has a PhD from the University of Cambridge, states, ironically, a consequence of the huge array of online communities and the ease of finding those with specific interests is a tendency to self-select into like-minded groups, lessening the opportunity to encounter and learn from those with different perspectives and opinions and be exposed to other voices. This bias in social media leads to one-sided perspectives on certain topics and debates, thus changing the perception of a person. This causes them to choose either a more liberal or conservative point of view based on what they see on social media, limiting their sense of right or wrong. One factor that makes social media threatening to our confidence is not being able to control the amount of time spent on it because it has turned into an addiction. To solve the problem of comparing oneself to others on social media, the use of social media should be limited by setting time limits on social media, on one's device. Cecile Andreasen, who has a PhD in clinical psychology, says apps exist to help one cut down on time spent on social media and to eliminate digital distractions. By downloading such apps, the social media user can block the apps that they like to avoid. In response, people spend more time on themselves rather than being absorbed in other people's lives, and this can stop them from comparing themselves to social media icons, as well as improve their mental image of their body. Gradually, their confidence will increase and their perceptions of themselves will improve. This restriction can also lead to less one-sided bias because users have less access to posts to feed their bias. However, this solution does have limitations. Not many people are willing to do this. People first have to accept their addiction before they are willing to act on it. Therefore, this solution will be extremely hard to integrate. Another solution would be that celebrities can stop using Photoshop to prevent people from sexualizing their body image or comparing themselves to celebrities. Celebrities can also stop posting lewd photos of themselves online so people think of them differently and post more photos of them, helping out the community. A limitation to this is that many celebrities are probably not willing to do this because they do not want to be held down by society and they want to be able to express themselves freely. Another solution is implementing interventions on organizational or school levels that focus on policies that promote healthier use of social media. Andreasen also mentions that rules prohibiting the personal use of social media at the workplace decreases social media overuse, by saying, as leaders, teachers, and parents serve as significant role models both online and offline, they should lead by example. How they behave is of crucial importance for toning down or intensifying excessive social media use among their employees, students, and children. A limitation to this is that some individuals will just ignore the interventions that are being placed for them and continue to use social media excessively. Even though these solutions are not being put into action, we should still take measures to prevent social media from having such a great impact on our perception. Thank you.
Okay. Kimia. Question number 1. How did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
So, since this was more of an argumentative type of project, the differing perspectives that I found would indirectly agree with my argument, which was that social media has an impact on our perception, and I did not necessarily find a counter argument that would say that it doesn't, and so my conclusion is basically my solution, and I tried to find multiple solutions that would be able to embody these problems and help to potentially solve them. For example, Jamie Perez talks about how social media can give people the same high as drugs because when people receive likes, it releases dopamine in the brain's reward system, causing addiction. And so I suggested to put time limits on social media in hopes to slowly get rid of this addiction.
And your second question. What additional questions emerged from your research and why are these questions important?
An additional question that emerged from my research is how are stereotypes spread throughout social media? And this question is very important in my opinion because today there are so many, today we see so many different things about different people on social media that makes us think differently about them, such as stereotypes. They make us perceive other people, such as different races and genders, in a different way that we didn't perceive them as before.
Okay.